everybody. Hope you're having the best day of your life. And if you woke up in America this morning, congratulations. Truly, you are the 1% of all time. Because you know what? There are millions upon millions of people around this world who wish they woke up in the place that you woke up in this morning. They didn't, and you did. So congratulations. You are the 1% of all time. Do not allow some crazy left-wing politician to convince you that you're a victim when you woke up in this beautiful nation where we have liberty and freedom. Having said that, liberty and freedom are under attack like we've never seen before. How you guys doing? How is everybody out there? It's crazy, isn't it? Is this the craziest year you've ever seen? There was someone earlier this year who told me that because everything was going so great, the economy is so great, we just worked out a trade deal with Canada and Mexico. We just worked out the trade deal with China. The economy was booming, 7.1 million jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, lowest unemployment rate of all time, workers' wages rising faster than they've risen in decades. They did not believe it was possible for Donald Trump to lose this upcoming election unless there was a Black Swan event. We have not had a Black Swan event, have we? No, we've had a flock of Black Swan events. This is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like 9/11 every single day. But it's worse than 9/11 because in 9/11, we had each other. On 9/11, we had each other. On 9/11, remember what it was like? Remember seeing those first responders, those firefighters and those police officers running into the buildings when everybody else was running out? And when they were running into those buildings, do you remember the pride, the sadness, the patriotism that you felt? Because when those firefighters and those police officers were running into those buildings, they were not running into those buildings because they were racist. They were running into those buildings to save Americans who needed their help. We had each other, and it was beautiful. Do you remember? I mean, every day now feels like 9/11. But 9/11 was so much better. Remember the horror and the sadness of that day? But we were unified. Remember how the cross, those two steel girders fell in a perfect way at ground zero in the shape of a cross? Do you remember that? Do you remember that old tattered flag that was raised up on that pole? You remember that? You remember the unity that we had from that cross? Do you remember the unity that we had from that flag? Do you remember the unity that we had in the heroes that took that flight down rather than to allow them to fly into a building and kill more Americans? Do you remember Let's Roll? Do you remember Get Her Done? Do you remember? All the things that united us. This flag, the national anthem. Do you remember the World Series that year? Do you remember the national anthem? Do you remember how loud we sang? Do you remember how proud we were to sing the national anthem? Do you remember how proud we were to sing God Bless America? Do you remember how unifying our songs were? Do you remember when you heard Alan Jackson sing Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning? The first time. I do. We had unity. I drove around in my work truck for 2 to 3 weeks after 9/11 with two of these big bad boys flying in the back of it. And I wasn't alone. They were everywhere. Flags everywhere. We were unified. We were unified in our heroes. We were unified in our flag. We were unified in the Star-Spangled Banner. We were unified in God Bless America. We were unified in our music, our movies, our heroes. Do you remember our sports, how our sports unified us then? Remember how beautiful it was to hear a crowd that big singing the Star-Spangled Banner, cheering as the jets flew overhead? Do you remember? Do you remember Pat Tillman? Do you remember great Americans? Like Pat Tillman, who gave up a multi-million-dollar career, multi-million-dollar annual income to go fight in Afghanistan and die? We had so much that united us in those days. Remember, our churches were overflowing. Remember how our churches were overflowing? Record attendance. Remember how we all turned back to the basics and we realized how important it was to be united? Remember how we realized how special it was to be an American? I do. I remember all that. And it breaks my heart. And honestly, what we're going through right now, I personally believe it is an orchestrated attack by our elites and by the traitors in our country who support our enemies. I believe personally myself that that is what's happening. I believe that Communist Party of China and Xi Jinping, while they isolated the rest of China from the virus, they sent 4,000 people a day to the United States out of Wuhan, China, for 39 days while they lied to the world about human-to-human transmission. I believe that our country was being seeded at that time. I believe that all this domestic violence that we see going on is all funded and organized by the Communist Party of China and Xi Jinping. These people who are trying to destroy everything that we love are well-trained, organized, well-funded Marxists. They've said so themselves. They do not love America. They do not love those firefighters and those police officers and those first responders. They do not love this flag. They do not love the songs that united us. They do not love the Star-Spangled Banner. They do not love God Bless America. They certainly do not love our military. And they would spit on Pat Tillman. Well, if he was alive, he'd probably punch him right in their face, but that's beside the point. America is under attack like nothing we've ever seen before. And the forces that are orchestrating this attack know us very well. They have taken away all the things that unite us. They think they have anyway. They've taken away, think about it, our first responders we were so proud of, now they're supposed to be the enemy. What? Doesn't even make any sense. They celebrated these Marxists who hate America. Here in St. Louis, Missouri, they killed a beautiful, brave man named Captain David Dorn. He was shot, bleeding out on the sidewalk here in St. Louis, while they FaceTime lived his death and mocked him. That's who our enemies are. That's the people that hate America, who are trying to destroy America. Well, those are the foot soldiers. The actual people, in my opinion, who are helping them are the elites who remain silent while 70,000 of our factories went overseas. All those great paying middle class jobs gone. All the benefits gone. All the retirement gone. All the coaches gone. All the teachers. They did this to us. And they are furious that we elected Donald Trump as our president to push back against what they did. And they're trying to punish us now in this election year. I truly, honestly believe that. I truly, honestly believe this is a well-funded, coordinated attack against America. Those first responders are supposed to be the enemy now. This flag is supposed to divide us now. The Star-Spangled Banner is supposed to be racist and divide us. God Bless America is supposed to be wrong. It's all insanity. They've closed our churches. They're arresting people for going to churches. They've arrested people for going to funerals. They've stopped people from getting married. They're stopping our children from going to school. On 9/11, remember how important our children were? I do. I had a beautiful 4.5-month-old daughter, Reagan. And I remember looking at her on that day, and I remember crying, and I remember praying for her. But I remember thinking distinctly, this beautiful little girl will not ever know the America that I grew up in. And I was sad. And we did lose a lot that day, but we also gained a lot. We had unity. We had each other. We need to get back to that. We need those of us who love America, those who are Democrats who love America, I've talked to so many Democrats lately that are just horrified by what they are seeing. Not all Democrats are leftist Marxists. There's a lot of Democrats who are just traditional Americans who love America, who united that day, who were just as proud as me to see those first responders running into that building. They were just as proud as me to sing God Bless America and the Star-Spangled Banner. They were just as proud as me to see these flags flying everywhere. They were just as proud as me of what Pat Tillman did. All you Democrats that love America, please, please stand up, speak out. Please do not vote for these crazy people who are attacking America. Please, please, I know that you probably do not like President Trump, but please, I beg you, please, you need to vote for President Trump in November. You need to vote for Republicans. We need to get some kind of sanity back into our nation. We need to take more seats in the Senate, and we need to take back the House. And we need to allow this president to clean this craziness up, because we have enemies, foreign and domestic, who are trying to destroy our nation. Everything that united us, they say is bad. How can it be that Captain David Dorn lay bleeding on the streets like that, and yet it was ignored? How can it be that beautiful little 8-year-old Sequoia Turner was murdered at a Black Lives Matter checkpoint in Atlanta, Georgia, and nobody I come across knows her name? How can that be? How can it be that China right now has 1 million Muslim Uyghurs in concentration camps? They are doing forced sterilizations and abortions on them. How can that be that we don't know about these things because our press does not report them? How can it be that there could be a hot war right now between China and India and nobody knows about it? How can it be that China is completely went against their treaty with Hong Kong, and now they have taken Hong Kong over, and our press doesn't report it? And our press doesn't report that China has secured military domination of the East China Sea, and that China is trying to secure military domination of the South China Sea, and that China is pushing hard and trying to bully Japan, Vietnam, South Korea, New Zealand, Australia, all their neighbors, the Philippines. How can all this be and we don't know about it? Could it possibly be that the same reason we don't know anything about what the Chinese are doing in China is the same reason why we don't know about Captain David Dorn and Sequoia Turner, or for that matter, Natalia Wallace, or legend to follow. I can never get that kid's name right. I'm so sorry. He's a beautiful boy. How can that be? I'm telling you. There are 6 companies that control 90% of our mainstream media. 6. They all have financial interest in communist China. Could it possibly be that our mainstream media is actually not working for America, but they're actually working for our enemies? Could it be that many of our politicians are not working for America, but they're actually working for our enemies? Could it be that a lot of our celebrities are more interested in serving their Chinese masters than they are in unifying America? I mean, contrast. Do you remember what it was like to hear Alan Jackson sing "Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning" for the first time? I do. We need to get back, America. We need to get back to who we are. We need to stop supporting organizations that openly hate America. We need to speak up. We need to speak out. Now, that is very difficult to do in these times, I have to tell you, because there is a recent poll, a Cato Institute poll, that said 77% of Republicans are afraid to publicly share their political views. That same poll said 57 or 59% of independents are afraid to share their political views, and 52% of Democrats are afraid to share their political views publicly. The only group of people who was 72% of far left, basically Marxist, they were totally confident in sharing their political views. That was the only group of people who felt confident in sharing their political views, comfortable and confident. All right? We need to put a stop to this. I cannot tell you how many people have come to me personally and told me, "Sean, I love your videos. I love what you got to say. I agree 100%, but I cannot share. I cannot like. I cannot subscribe. I cannot comment in a positive way on anything that you do, because if I do, I will lose my job." This is America. Are we okay with this? I'm not. I'm not at all. We need to pray first and foremost. We need to be praying that God will have mercy on us. We need to educate ourselves. We need to stand up and we need to speak out. And we need to stop being afraid. We need to talk to the people around us who we all know people who just don't care about politics and who just don't vote. We need to talk to those people and we need to say, look, if you love America, you need to vote. If you love America, you need to speak up and speak out. If we do not stand up now, we may not ever get another opportunity. If these well-trained Marxists win in November, we're done. They've already laid out their plan. They're going to allow illegals to come into our country. They've already laid out their plan. They're going to bring Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico into the Senate to stack the Senate. And they've already talked about stacking the Supreme Court. All right? If we lose this upcoming election, we may never get another shot at saving our nation again. This is so important, people. They've stopped us from going to church. They've arrested people for that. They've stopped us from speaking out. They've forced us to wear masks. All right? They've stopped our kids from going to school. They've shut down millions of businesses, millions and millions of businesses, and unemployed tens of millions of Americans. And many of these leaders show no desire whatsoever to get our country back to normal. They show no desire whatsoever to end these lockdowns. They show no desire whatsoever to allow businesses to reopen, people to get back to work, children to go back to school. As a matter of fact, they on every front are using this crisis to try to politically leverage what they want. Did you see where the LA Teachers Union said that nobody goes back to school until we have universal health care for everyone, including illegals, we defund the police, and we get rid of charter schools? Does that sound like America? Does that sound like America to you? It's unrecognizable to me. These people who openly hate America, these people who openly seek to take political advantage of this situation, these people who openly hate you, this flag, our police, our firefighters, who openly hate the Star-Spangled Banner and God Bless America, who openly would be in disgust of what a hero like Pat Tillman did. These people are our enemies. We need to realize this. We who love America need to unite. We who love America need to defeat these people at the ballot box in November. And in the meantime, we need to stand up. We need to speak out. And we need to pray fervently and educate ourselves. Be prepared with an answer, all right? Now, as a Christian, I'm told to be prepared with an answer for my hope in Christ Jesus. And I 100% will say every Christian should have that. I would also say be prepared with an answer for why you love America. Be prepared with an answer. Do you realize how many people have come here from other countries who are completely just blown away at what is happening in America, and that we're willing to just be quiet and accept all this? Okay, I'm not willing to be quiet and accept it all. I'm not going to. I'm going to pray. I'm going to educate myself. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to speak out. I'm going to talk to people who normally do not vote and talk them into being registered to vote. I'm going to do anything and everything I can to assure that we have a total and complete victory for America this November. To remember what it was like to be united. Wouldn't it be beautiful to have that again? Wouldn't it be beautiful if all these mainstream media people went the way of the dinosaur and that they were replaced by people who actually love America? Wouldn't it be beautiful if this flag was flying everywhere again and it was a unifying force and not a dividing force? Wouldn't it be beautiful if when we sang the Star-Spangled Banner and God Bless America that everybody just loved it and sang it super proud and loud? Wouldn't it be great if we actually respected our police officers and firefighters and first responders again? Our military? We have our work cut out for us. We need to get our children back to school. We need to get our businesses back in business. We need to get our workers back to work. We need to defeat these people who seek to destroy this beautiful nation. We also have to realize that China is a force for evil in the world, and America is a force for good in the world. And therefore, we are opposed to each other, all right? Our work is cut out for us, people. America has saved the world 3 times. We saved the world from the Axis powers in World War I. We saved the world from the Nazis in World War II. And we saved the world from the communists, the Soviet Union, in the Cold War. Our greatest challenge lies in front of us. Xi Jinping and the Communist Party of China seek to be the dominant power in the world. They seek to put America under their foot. Our elites have sold us out. Our politicians have sold us out. Our businesses have sold us out. If we do not gather ourselves together and be united and refuse to allow these people to divide us, we will be defeated. America will be no more. But if we unite, we can have that unity again. And I personally believe that this beautiful nation, unique among nations, can defeat any adversary, foreign and domestic. But we have to be united. United we stand, divided we fall. God bless you guys, man. Love y'all. Hang in there. This too will pass. God is in control. We serve a mighty and an awesome God, and he is in control. God bless.